Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. This looks a pretty good rack, but is there a bingo here? Yes, there is. I have Asinos. Fantastic. Asinos for 74. Bang! And this is a pretty good pickup. I have Inflamed through the eye. Field Man not good. And Inflamed remains available. Is there anything better? Well, there's no other anagram of Inflamed. What about a play in column 8 going through IS? That would probably end eyes or ised or ism. Or possibly man, much lower down. Well, I'm not seeing such a play. Inflamed for 78. And another good pickup, I have Eucharist through the A of Asinos and also the A of Inflamed. They could both be blocked. Do I have a 7-letter play with this rack? Not sure I do. How about a play through the D, bottom row? I'm expecting opponent to play there, but he may leave it alone since he trails. However, he did get a very good score for Jizz, 77 points, so he doesn't trail by a huge amount, just one bingo. I'm not seeing anything through that D. I probably do have something through some of these other floaters. Eucharist through the A of Asinos doesn't get doubled. So let me consider these floaters in a little more methodically. What about the C of Asinos? Not seeing anything there. How about the F? No. How about the L? Culture. Fantastic. One of the world's friendliest words. But again, it doesn't get doubled. And the A, I've already considered Eucharist, that does get doubled, albeit creating a new triple-triple lane. Now this M looks like it does make a bingo, but it hasn't come to mind. Wow, great bingo for opponent. And Eucharist row out remains available. Let me finish this exercise. I don't think the E is worth considering because it's going to create too many opportunities for opponents. So let me dwell on this D. This rack plus a D. Well, no, I'm not seeing anything. So do I play Eucharist? And what about the new floaters? Not sure any of those are likely to exceed Eucharist in score. So Eucharist for 80. And finally, I slow down. This is a pretty grim rack. I may be able to sort it out. I do have Jived on the rack, G-Y-V-E-D. That would play at 01. The spot underneath OSE looks quite hot, but I don't have a vowel I don't have an O for going underneath IS. My P or D could go underneath ZE. Well, I'd like to get rid of G, Y and V in one fell swoop if I can. Is there anywhere else for jived? My Y can go next to FY. Jizz only takes a Z at the end. Jived also plays in column 1, but it doesn't get tripled. So opponent taking a while with his plays. I'm not seeing anything down through the S, which is particularly good. Now, I also have jived in row N, which preserves my E, which could be quite handy since it's the only vowel I have. And there are only 6 left in the bag, or unplayed. Jog is good. Great, opponent only scores 24 points, and he leaves alone the jibed spot. So I have it here for 42. And it would be 34 higher up, but that would allow access to triple word squares. And this rack leave, although it's consonant heavy, is fairly synergetic, and there are floating vowels on the board, particularly in foveoli, and the O and the E can't both be blocked, except with a play through the V. I'm going with this. Okay, I do draw a couple of vowels, and they are O's for going underneath IS. But I don't have any... my R can go underneath JO. But I don't have any ROP plays. This rack leave, or this rack, could be close to a bingo. I'm not seeing a 7. Wow, I thought that was another bingo coming down. But opponents just played off 6 bingo-y tiles and provided a couple of useful floaters. Do either of them assist? Well, the R duplicates a tile on my rack. I feel there could be an 8 with this rack, but none has come to mind. Just not seeing anything through the E, and the E looks like it would be a good tile to go with this rack. So, how to sort the rack out? I should be able to leave quite a good rack leave. But can I score? So a player prods would leave ORS, probably the best rack leave, but a dismal score. Pood is good. That could play here for 23 points. That's quite nice. I'm taking out or restricting the availability of the E. Can I score more than 23 points? Well, what about playing Pood up here? 27 points. And I think I'll play the S as well to stop opponent playing down there and also improving my own rack. So, Poods for 29. Great, really balanced rack. I may not have a bingo here, but I do have the X, which is a good scoring tile. And I have racks in column 6, making X and Ma. So everything's going pretty swimmingly at the moment, but opponent has been scoring well and is only 100 points behind. And it's a pretty wide open board, and there is a blank still to come. All 4 S's have been played or are on my rack. Now, do I have anything better than racks? And what if racks is blocked? Heavens forfend. No obvious alternative X play. In particular, I'm not seeing one running across the top of Poods, although there could be one there. I have Oxtail, which is quite nice in column 10 because I have an S for putting on the end of that, albeit there is a blank still to come, so that could backfire horrendously. Now I have Oxalis in row M 45 points. That's pretty good. Should racks be blocked? And it is blocked. Unbelievable. How on earth did he think to go there? Wretched opponent. Okay, so do I play Oxalis burning my S? And do I have an X play in row H? Don't think I do. This is quite nice. I'm playing off 6 tiles. There is a blank out there. I'm expediting the end of the game, and I'm keeping the pressure on my opponent and extending my lead. Well, I don't draw the blank, but I do have quite a balanced rack. Slightly hampered by the UW combination, one of the worst in Scrabble. I think the V of Favioli has hampered development to the top of the board because it inhibits parallel plays. Now, opponent has played at the bottom of the board, and I can play here. I have raw in, but do I have a play which gets my W underneath LA? It takes an A. And I would like to play off the U, if I can. What about a play beginning to the left, ending AW? Undraw. Doesn't fit. Well, I feel there could be something better than raw in. It hasn't come to mind. Diwan is good, but Lan isn't. AH only takes an A after it of the tiles I've got. So I'm not going to be able to stick something underneath R and it, because I would need 2 A's for that. I'm just pausing in case I've got a WA play, which would score more, but I'm not seeing it. So raw in for 34. Well, again, quite a balanced rack. Quite fortunate my keeper DU was inviting trouble. This isn't particularly bingo-y. Now, I feel I ought to be playing in row H to take out the danger of the S of Poods. And I'm not home and dry yet. I do have a good lead, but there are 19 tiles to come, including a blank. There's definitely room on this board for 2 bingos. And I'm not going to score very much next turn. I have no scoring tiles on my rack. I think auto guide may be good through a U and an E. So what do I have in row H? I guess I have Udo. Pretty tragic score. $17 points. Probably not even that much. Well, auto would be better. 21 points. Can I improve on that? Well, I guess I could play Agoutis in column 13. That would turn over a lot of tiles. There's still a blank to come. And that remains available. Opponent creating a new double lane. So there is still a Q to come, but there are a couple of U's. I'm providing a U. There's a couple of I's to come, so it's not something to be terribly feared. So Agoutis for 18. Is that better than auto? 21 for auto. Well, I think there is merit in turning over tiles. Wow, and there it is. There is the merit. I have drawn the blank. Just the solitary vowel. But the blank can be a vowel, so I could have a bingo on my rack. I'm not totally sure about boneyard, but I think that's good. I don't understand why it wouldn't be, because I think it's a common word. That remains available. Great, just 21 points for opponent. Boneyard, if it's good, doesn't get doubled, so there may be something better here. So, well, I have Boneyard through the A of Agoutis, but that's not as good. It opens up a triple lane, and again, it doesn't get doubled. So what about the useful floaters? How about the G? And by useful, I mean allowing a play to be doubled. Well, not seeing anything with a G. The blank would need to be a vowel, I think. I'm not seeing anything. How about the O? Not seeing anything. And the U isn't available. So, well, let me see if Boneyard is good. It may not be. And it is. Fantastic. And wow, I have drawn so well in this game. This is quite a nice set of 7 random tiles. There's just 1 tile in the bag. Opponent could have Requiem on his rack, but I'm not sure there's anywhere for that. He could have Ramekin onto the N. Wow. That would be a nice end to the game for him, but it wouldn't be enough. I don't think. I mean, the Q would get doubled and the whole thing tripled. But I think the tile in the bag may come to my rescue. Well, in any event, that's not going to be a 200-point play. So what can I do with this rack? Do I have a bingo? And if I don't, what should I play? Well, I'm not seeing a bingo here. I note that my K can go above the Y of Boneyard. But what do I have? Do I have something beginning with the F? Ending K? Well, no, I don't, because I don't have any consonants which go above the E. So what about a play running right? I do have OK. Phew. And no Ramekin for opponents, so just 25 points. How am I doing for time? 11 minutes on my clock. What a game. So I do have a play in column 8. I could play Lurk or Dirk. So Dirk would score more. Ah, well, what about Lurked? Okay, not enough spaces. Well, opponent's going to go out, so I just need to go for maximum score, which is going to be Dirk. Of those 2 options, so that's 42 points. I can stick an E on the end of that. That's 45. That's my target. Can I beat 45 points? Let me put this back. What about a play across here? KL perhaps, not seeing anything. What about a play down column 12? I can't really put my K here because then opponent could play Came. What about a play in row H? Not seeing anything. What about a play through this V, getting the K doubled? Not seeing anything. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Dirk for 45. And opponent surely is going out now. If he doesn't, I have Ludo through the D. Another very exciting game. And what else do I have? I have ooled in column 12 onto the D of poods. So what's opponent going to do with AEM? Well, he's got aim. No, it's AMI. It's AMI, not aim. I think that's a mistake I've made before. He certainly can go out. He could play MAE and EA, but I suspect he's looking for the best out. I'm not going to look for an LOU spot, and opponent does go out because I was confident opponent would find an out, and he does. And the final score, 323 for my opponent, 510 for me, a winning margin of 187 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. That was just explosive. So it was me to go first, and I got off to the perfect start with a bingo of Asinos. And this was opponent's rack. No bingo, but he does have Jizz for 77, which was a great score, and he takes the lead. My rack, Inflamed, was the only bingo. And now opponent plays Fovioli, so 4 opening moves, 3 bingos, and a 70-point non-bingo, so absolutely amazing start for the game. And it continues. This was my rack. I have Eucharist for 80, and Colchia was the only other bingo. Opponent's rack. Well, close to a bingo, quite nice tiles, but there wasn't one. Plays Bannet. And I have Jived at 01. So I now lead by about 100. And this is where opponent played Titter, sorting out this unbalanced rack. And he could have played Terzetti, but again for a pretty low score. Now, my rack. Phew, no missed bingo there. Rods for 37, that's a nice score. Ah, okay. Yeah, I think that would have been the play. Nice rack leave, nice score. I played Poods for 29. So 8 fewer points and keeping RS. Well, RS is not 8 points better than OPS. In fact, those rack leaves, I think, are likely to be very similar. I suspect RS is worth about 10 to 12 points. And OPS, I would think, would be worth something similar. Now, opponent's rack plays Pew, stealing my beautiful X spot, forcing me to play Oxalis and burning the S. However, M5, Max was available. Max, Tix and Raw for 44 points. Yeah, that's only 1 fewer point than Oxalis, but it's a much better rack leave. R by itself must be worth about 1, and ILORS must be worth in excess of 10 points, so that was a miss. Opponent's rack. Although there was the advantage of playing Oxalis in the sense of tile turnover with a blank still to come. However, I still think Max was a much better play. Opponent's turn, and he played Hat. And I play Raw in for 34, and, well, there's nothing obviously better here. Now, R takes an I as well as an A. I didn't consider that. But there was still no play which used both R and it, so all of the candidate plays scored similar amounts. Opponent's rack, pretty grim. Plays Vor, and I play a Gooties here. However, H11, Diota for 30. Not a great rack leave, but it is turning over 5 tiles. and not providing very much. So, yeah, I think Diota would have been better. Opponent's rack plays Neg. And wow, Boneyard is the only bingo, so delighted to have spotted that. And this was opponent's potentially ramekin rack, but he just misses it by one tile, so the A is in the bag. And he has no bingo. N14 QI available above raw in, but he plays Requin for 25, and he may have done that to increase his chances of being able to go out next turn. My rack and Dirk for 45 looks best. And finally, opponent plays Mage for 14. Could have got 21. B6 for Ami running across the top of Boneyard. So that was the end of that. Absolutely amazing game. Blistering pace and just an explosive start in terms of bingos. I think I had either three bingos in my first 3 moves or 3 in my first 4. So absolutely amazing stuff, and nearly a 200-point victory. So many thanks to my opponent for a great battle. I guess I probably enjoyed that a little more than he did. And I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.